In an ever-changing, incomprehensible world, the masses had reached the point where they would, at the same time, believe everything and nothing, think that everything was possible and nothing was true. In her 1951 book, The Origins of Totalitarianism, Hannah Arendt pinpoints the exact moment at which the erosion of truth and the disintegration of collective trust converge, leaving the masses suspended in a disorienting paradox. In her analysis of Nazism and Stalinism, Arendt identifies the rise of mass propaganda and the manipulation of public opinion as the catalysts of totalitarian rule amidst a society undergoing rapid change. Likewise, in the 21st century, we are undergoing rapid changes in terms of power structures, politics, and particularly technological development. Scientists say that we have entered the age of acceleration, in which our technology is developing at a rate faster than what anyone can keep up with. Speed, efficiency, and expediency govern our lifestyles. And amidst this period of societal transformation enters artificial intelligence, or AI. Something perceived to be more impactful than the discovery of fire or electricity by Google's CEO, AI has the potential to reshape every aspect of our lives, from how we work and communicate to how we make decisions and understand the world. However, as AI continues to advance at an astonishing pace, it brings forth a myriad of questions and concerns regarding ethics, privacy, and the very nature of humanity itself. Today, we'll be exploring the potential implications that AI may have on governance, and more specifically, how I believe it can be weaponized and manipulated to foster totalitarian governments and erode democratic ones. More specifically, I argue that the rapid proliferation of artificial intelligence poses a significant and legitimate threat to our democratic systems. Its capacity to disseminate false information at unprecedented speeds, enable individualized surveillance, and even facilitate historical revisionism undermines the foundations of our democracy. First, when examining everything from the proliferation of loneliness and depression across society to the masses of people that are flocking to extremist populist groups, the stage is set perfectly for an AI-led transformation of political landscapes. In authoritarian regimes such as China and Russia, the fusion of disinformation, technology, and state control has given rise to alarming developments. China's social credit system, for instance, uses AI and surveillance technologies to monitor and manipulate citizens' behavior, effectively shaping a society governed by compliance and conformity. Meanwhile, Russia has been notorious for leveraging AI-driven disinformation campaigns to sow discord, manipulate public opinion, and undermine democratic processes, both domestically and abroad. The convergence of AI, social credit systems, mass surveillance, and propaganda poses a significant threat to democratic values and individual liberties. And as AI algorithms become more sophisticated and capable of processing vast amounts of personal data, the potential for manipulation and control grows exponentially. However, it is not just authoritarian regimes that wield this power. Even in democratic societies, the influence of AI in politics is becoming increasingly apparent. AI-powered algorithms shape our online experiences, tailor news and information, and create echo chambers that reinforce existing beliefs. This creates a fragmented and polarized political landscape where individuals are exposed to personalized narratives that reinforce their biases, making meaningful dialogue and collective decision-making more challenging. In the US, rates of political polarization are higher than ever, with deep divisions across ideological lines. The rise of populist right-wing parties and movements has further fueled this polarization, amplifying societal tensions and challenging democratic norms. The state of politics, whether within authoritarian or democratic institutions, appears increasingly bleak. Returning to Hannah Arendt and her words on totalitarianism, all these factors, from loneliness to rapid technological change to political disenfranchisement, are gasoline to the fire that is totalitarianism. To conclude, the metaphorical stage is now set perfectly for the breakdown of democracy and a rise in totalitarian ideologies.
These German pictures, destined for certain neutral countries, were intended to spread Nazi propaganda. But Dr. Goebbels tripped up badly, very badly, and here they are.
But first, let's examine the mechanisms that have historically fostered totalitarian rule. When we reflect on the most notable examples of totalitarian regimes, we are inevitably drawn to the 20th century regimes such as the Nazis in Germany, Fascist Italy, and Stalinist Russia. One key aspect that facilitated the grip of these regimes was the mass dissemination of information through propaganda campaigns. Figures such as Joseph Goebbels, the Minister of Propaganda in Nazi Germany, masterminded elaborate strategies to manipulate public opinion and indoctrinate the masses. This state-controlled machinery of propaganda was a potent tool for shaping narratives and consolidating power. Another critical element of social control was individual surveillance. Totalitarian regimes employed various tactics to monitor and control the population on an individual level. Examples range from the extensive network of informants and the secret police in Stalinist Russia to the pervasive surveillance systems implemented in countries like East Germany under the Stasi regime. By closely monitoring citizens' activities, thoughts, and associations, these regimes exerted a chilling effect on dissent and ensured conformity. Historical revisionism, the distortion and rewriting of history, also played a significant role. Regimes like Stalinist Russia were notorious for altering photographs and manipulating historical records to fit their political narratives. Similarly, during China's Cultural Revolution, historical artifacts, artworks, and literature that didn't align with the regime's ideology were destroyed. These acts of revisionism were aimed at erasing or rewriting the past to solidify the regime's control over historical memory. To conclude, throughout history, the mass dissemination of propaganda, individual surveillance, and historical revisionism have been particularly salient aspects of totalitarianism that have enabled the perpetuation of such regimes. Now, where does AI fit into all of this? In today's interconnected world, information travels at an unprecedented pace. With just a few taps on our screens, we can share our thoughts, opinions, and beliefs with millions of people instantly. But what happens when this power of dissemination and data collection falls into the wrong hands?
The telescreen received and transmitted simultaneously. Any sound that Winston made above the level of a very low whisper would be picked up by it. Moreover, so long as he remained within the field of vision which the metal plaque commanded, he could be seen as well as heard. There was, of course, no way of knowing whether you were being watched at any given moment.
What is truly dangerous about AI is that it has the power to take these three key attributes that have enabled the perpetuation of totalitarian regimes: dissemination, surveillance, and historical revisionism, and morph them into something bigger and more malicious on a scale greater than what we've ever observed. As foreshadowed by the quote from George Orwell's ominous 1984, AI possesses the capability to become an all-seeing, all-knowing telescreen, with the ability to capture, analyze, and manipulate vast amounts of personal data. In this dystopian future, the boundary between public and private, freedom and oppression, blurs, leaving individuals constantly under the watchful gaze of an unrelenting technological eye. Let's focus now on the first attribute, dissemination. AI's ability to disseminate information at an unprecedented speed has both positive and negative implications. On one hand, it allows for the rapid spread of knowledge, connecting people across the globe. And on the other hand, it opens the floodgates for the proliferation of disinformation and propaganda. We've witnessed the impact of such dissemination during the Russian interference in the US election of 2016. AI-powered algorithms coupled with social media platforms amplified the reach and influence of misleading narratives and divisive content. The sheer volume of disinformation circulating online has reached unprecedented levels, and the ability that algorithms like ChatGPT currently have in curating specific articles in a matter of seconds will lead to an exponential boom in the amount of disinformation. However, AI's capabilities go beyond simple dissemination. It has the ability to profile individuals based on their online behavior, creating psychographic profiles that can be used for targeted messaging and manipulation. We've all experienced it, those eerily accurate ads that seem to know us better than we know ourselves. AI algorithms analyze our online activities, preferences, and interactions, creating a highly detailed profile of our beliefs, desires, and vulnerabilities. This enables targeted messaging that resonates with our emotions and biases, further polarizing our perspectives and hindering meaningful dialogue. AI algorithms can potentially influence decision-making processes, such as elections, by leveraging data analysis and predictive modeling. This can include manipulating voter behavior, targeting swing voters with specific messaging, or even altering voting patterns through the spread of misinformation. In the individualistic fabric of Western societies, the power to know our own thoughts, desires, and joys lies firmly in our hands. We cherish the belief that no one has the right to impose their vision of the good life upon us. But the rise of artificial intelligence, or AI, threatens to reshape this fundamental premise. With its growing capabilities, AI has the potential to know us better than we know ourselves. As voiced by Yuval Noah Harari in the last chapter of his 2016 book, Homo Deus, what will happen to society, politics, and daily life when non-conscious but highly intelligent algorithms know us better than we know ourselves? And in the hands of a government, it becomes a powerful tool to claim insight into what its people truly want and what will make them happy. Imagine a future where AI algorithms gather and analyze vast amounts of personal data, learning our preferences, habits, and even our deepest emotions. This unprecedented knowledge could be harnessed by a government, giving it the audacious claim of understanding its citizens on a level never before imagined. In this AI-driven landscape, the government could argue that it knows what is best for its people, using this knowledge to shape policies and make decisions on their behalf. It would present a powerful shift in power dynamics, where the individual's autonomy and self-determination become increasingly blurred. But perhaps the biggest threat to humanity that AI holds is the ability to alter what we know to be true. The threat lies in the power of AI to manipulate and reshape historical narratives, leading to a dangerous phenomenon: historical amnesia and revisionism. Historical revisionism, as we discussed, is nothing new, but the advent of AI amplifies its reach and impact, enabling it to spread exponentially and permeate the consciousness of countless individuals. Authoritarian regimes, such as those in Russia and China, wield AI as a tool to control and manipulate information. Through AI models and algorithms, they can shape and distort historical records to fit their desired narratives, erasing inconvenient truths and rewriting the collective memory of their nations. This potential for distortion is particularly unsettling when we consider the ramifications of AI-generated misinformation. Just imagine relying on AI systems like ChatGPT only to be fed inaccurate and misleading information. we face the peril of becoming unwittingly subservient to the information disseminated by AI, blindly accepting its output without critical analysis or discernment. In the words of President John F. Kennedy, the ignorance of one voter in a democracy impairs the security of all. The erosion of truth facilitated by AI imperils not only our individual understanding, but also the very foundations of democracy itself. To synthesize, the rapid expansion of artificial intelligence presents a substantial and credible danger to our democratic institutions. By swiftly spreading misinformation, facilitating personalized surveillance, and potentially enabling historical manipulation, AI poses a direct challenge to the fundamental principles of our democracy. Unless we take decisive action to pause development and reevaluate AI regulations or address the ongoing AI arms race, both of which appear highly unlikely, these threats will persist and escalate. So to end with, are we truly facing a breakdown of our democratic institutions and a rapid rise in totalitarian power? Is Orwell's famed 1984 a prophetic look into our future? I personally don't know if I believe in this doomsday narrative that many people are spewing regarding AI, but as I've outlined in this video, I firmly believe that unless there are more and more regulations put on AI and its development and use, we may as well very much be witnessing the decline of democratic institutions in the next 5-10 years. So if you take anything away from this video, it is to stay vigilant. I firmly believe that big tech will be replaced by big AI in the next few years, and the line between truth and illusion will grow thinner and thinner, as will our ability to distinguish between the two. The right to self-determination, the freedom to choose our own paths, and autonomy over our thoughts and desires are ultimately ours to safeguard.